Hi Pisces, welcome to your end of January 2020 tarot reading update. It's Raina here, and I'm just shuffling the cards, and we're going to see what we see here. And we're going to see what this is going on. I was thinking, wow, this is really great. Well, it still is. Holy Batman. Holy Batman. Okay, 2 cards came out, so I'm going to pick both of them. Okay. Now, I think this is more of a, for those who are in relationships, actually, because the Heart of the Matter card is the 10 of Cups, and this is a card of marriage, of family, harmony. So if that's connected, there are different possibilities. I mean, sometimes when your parents get divorced, that's when you feel like a lot better and you're relieved, but they're getting divorced, so it doesn't mean that everything is fine between the two people. The 10 of Cups is a card of marriage. So even if you're single at this moment, this may be on your mind. And when I say marriage, I don't necessarily mean the traditional sense of the word, but a relationship that's kind of like a permanent relationship, a monogamous relationship. And we have here in the past position the 10 of Swords. So the number 10 is the culmination of something. It's like the ending of a chapter in life. And so with the 10 of Swords in the past position, it actually could mean that you are done with that suffering, and now you have this sense of hopefulness restored in your life. The 10 of Swords is a card of betrayal, so it makes sense to look at it as, somebody who has come from that past, who is still who still believes in love, and believes that love can conquer all. Whereas, as some of you probably know, there are some people who they get burned by love and that's it. They just become very cynical. And they say, never again, I'm not going to do this. And that kind of thing is understandable, but it's sad because obviously it means that they are still hurting from that situation. And but like I said, the 10 of Swords can mean that you've already been through the worst and now everything is kind of on an upswing in your life. And I don't really assign certain time periods for this, what the past means for the 10 of Swords, because I think it can be so different. I think depending on one person to the other. One person may get over something within a year, somebody might take 6 months, and some people might take years or they never get over a betrayal. That there are people, that I've read about where they have their heart broken and it's like, that's it. They don't allow love back into their life, which is really, really, really sad when you think about it. So just looking at it from that perspective of, improvement emotionally, emotional improvement. The spiritual message is the 5 of Swords. So on the spiritual level, I often read this card almost as advice on the spiritual level or emotional level. This is a card of deceit, deception, but also like slander, somebody talking smack about you, behind your back. Now, what does that mean in terms of this particular situation? What I would say is for Pisces, the Page of Cups in the Tarot, that's who you are in the Minor Arcana, the Page of Cups, the innocent one, like a child, the innocence of a child. To understand, to really understand without getting cynical, that's the key, that some people are up to no good. Some people are not to be trusted. And you know, with the Ten of Swords, you may have put your faith in the wrong type of person. And it's not to say, you know, point fingers and say, Pisces, you're to blame. You were wrong. It's to say, the truth is simply that some people are not up to any good. They always have some kind of agenda. They're always looking to get something. They're always being dishonest. And I believe people can change, but that doesn't mean that they will. And that's really up to them. And it's like Pisces sees the good in people, which is a wonderful quality, except when you get involved in a personal relationship where it's a very, you know, intimate experience where you're really spending a lot of time with somebody. What crosses you is the Five of Wands, and this is a card of conflict, of, you know, maybe disharmony and things like that. Now, I just told you that the Ten of Cups is about family harmony. So what does that Five of Wands represent as a as something like that? As, you know, what kind of card does that represent? Well, you know, notice how I got the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords. The number 5 is a number of, you know, things becoming imbalanced, or I think it means, like, sometimes it can mean like chaotic. There's movement. This is a change. Change is a big word. So if, I don't know what that Ten of Cups means to you. I don't know if some of you have met somebody that you feel is marriage material. I don't know if some of you have met someone who gives you faith again, or if you're simply have healed on your own and you're looking forward to a committed relationship. I'm not sure about any of that. But for those people who are still in a treacherous relationship, the Five of Swords, someone who may be spreading lies about them even, and maybe it's like an on-again, off-again thing. The Five of Wands, there's an instability, okay? And that person may be an energy vampire. They may be feeding off of negative energy. The Five of Wands is very combative. It's very competitive. And so this person won't be happy with your happiness with that Ten of Cups. That person wants to see you unhappy. And you may not fully embrace this yet. You may think, oh, you know, they want the best for me. You know, they've told me a dozen times. And maybe this person isn't even an ex. This could be like a so-called friend. Because they're, like, if you see this card, there are people in the background. This is a card, these cards have other people that are involved. And, you know, sometimes there are smear campaigns that go on. And the reason the person is doing that is they want to turn everybody against you so that maybe you're dependent on them. You know, sometimes friends, so I don't even like to use that word when you're talking about that type of terrible behavior, but sometimes so-called friends do that because they want to, it's like triangulation, where they talk smack about you to another friend and try to get everybody fighting with each other, and they come out smelling like a rose. So weeding out these people can be hard if you're not really attuned to it, if you're not really noticing it. And I think with the Five of Wands, the challenge is for you to notice how other people, leave you feeling afterwards. If you feel like agitated when you've been hanging with a friend, and you don't, and you might blame yourself, like, why am I so moody all of a sudden? Why do I feel like nauseous? And you don't even connect the dots. Pisces people are super psychic, but you ever notice, how the people who are skeptical, and they always say, well, if you're really a psychic, how come you can't do the lottery, or you can't, win the lottery? And one of the best answers to that is because I'm very tuned into others, and I'm not as tuned into myself. It's like, and it's so funny because water signs are incredibly subjective. So you'd think they'd be easily able to do it. But there's almost like, it's almost like you're so sensitive, there's like a blockage, or maybe even energetic, maybe even spiritually, it's done by design so that people with these talents don't use them to exploit others. Who knows? What's coming in is the King of Swords in reverse. This person, if you're, I'm thinking that this is the Five of Swords person, maybe even that Five of Wands, although that could be the behavior that he generates. This person's bad news. Yeah, you know what? Maybe some of you were thinking of marrying a person, and because you want so badly to have your family like as a cohesive unit, and maybe you're a single parent or something like that. This King of Swords in reverse, this may be, if they are a sun sign, if this is their sun sign, they might be a Gemini. I think that a Gemini is a big one for you because that's a mutable sign. Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. And Libra will tend not to be that callous. I could see an Aquarian who's very imbalanced, maybe has the moon in Scorpio or something, and is just kind of like, they don't really understand their own emotional flip-flops or contradictions, that they could be like that and lash out. But my best bet is Gemini. Geminis that are imbalanced can be con artists, and they can tell you all kinds of things, but these kinds of people can be very, very deceptive. They can talk behind your back, and they can be cruel. They get inside of your head. The King of Swords in reverse can be somebody who's very callous. And for a water sign like Pisces, this could destroy your feelings. So here we have this person in the past position. Maybe they're trying to come back into your life right when you have recovered. It's like that song. I was thinking of "I Will Survive." Or it was a disco song. I can't remember. Like right when, like you're coming back into my life right when, I was starting to get over you. I can't think of which song. If you know, then, that's good enough. But anyway, that's what these kinds of energy vampires do. They know. It's like they have psychic abilities, but they're using them in the wrong way, where they can sense when you're starting to get your life together. Come back into it. Maybe you're starting to see somebody, you're thinking, hey, this is the one, and they come back into the picture to like turn your life upside down. You can't let them win. The outcome is the Four of Cups. I could have left it here, but these two cards came out together, so that's really why I picked both of them. This is, you see the flat stone face of the person, and somebody's offering love. I think that you're getting smart, Pisces. You're starting to get, clued in on the program of what's going on with this individual. And, you could substitute this for a boss. You could. The only thing is with the Ten of Cups, I mean, to me, it's almost like if it was going to be in an office, that you're getting along with everyone in the office, because a toxic boss will probably triangulate with the best of them, like any other area of life. So the same deal would apply, where you're not going to, there's a technique in narcissism called gray rock technique, where if somebody comes back into your life, a narcissist, maybe they just call you and they're looking for information to use against you. And the gray rock technique is you say, everything is great when they ask you, but you never give any specifics. So that might be you doing the gray rock technique. They may love bomb you. They may say great things to you. If it's an ex-boss, he may or she may offer you, a substantial pay increase. But if you know the hierarchy of that place, you're going to know that, hey, it's not really going to end well, even if I'm promised the moon and everything. It's not going to work out, because this person doesn't want it to work out. This person is actively trying to make my life miserable. And so, what am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to just turn the other cheek? And you know what? Even if Jesus did say turn the other cheek, that doesn't mean, turning the other cheek means that you forgive the person and you see their humanity. It doesn't mean that you have to have a deep relationship with them. And that's an important thing to remember. Forgiveness doesn't mean that. And then I got the Hangman along with it. So this may be that there is kind of a little bit of a period of time. This is actually connected to you. This, I think it's connected to Neptune. And I think it's connected to Neptune for two reasons. One is it's a card of surrender. And Pisces is a card of surrender. Again, I have to mention this. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is letting go. When you give up, the ego is involved. The ego is saying, oh, well, I'm, just like usual, I can't catch a break. And I give up. And it's really like giving up on life, tuning out to other possibilities. And that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about letting go of the need for a particular outcome. But this might even be more of the interpretation here, is that the Hangman may be that there is a waiting period. And it may not be that this other person is imposing it. You may be imposing it privately on the situation. And you're saying, I've met a new person. I want to move on with my life, but I'm going to give myself a little bit more time to get over the hurt of this past relationship. And I'm going to let this new person know that, I really am interested, I'm attracted to them, but there's just still so much healing that I need to do. Because you see that Ten of Cups, and you can tell just by looking at it how positive it is, even if you don't know what it means. You see the rainbow and everything. And then you have these two cards flanking it. One is supposed to be the past. One is supposed to be the way that you're to look at it from a spiritual perspective. And they're both swords, which can be conflict. But they both have that kind of dark, one has a dark cloak on, and one is a dark background. So it's trying to, symbolize the contrast between the light, which is the the battle between good and evil. And Pisces is a sign that is very spiritual, but also can be very immersed in fantasy, sometimes because of childhood trauma and that escapism of dealing with that daily Upset is, is kind of channeled in another area, but sometimes it can be because of being very idealistic. And there's nothing wrong with, thinking positively and being idealistic and being, the best possible scenario. But you have to protect yourself. There's no question about that. When I see that 5 of Swords, I really like, this is the Morgan Greer deck. I like how they have him. It's almost like the Grim Reaper in a sense. And it's like this person is not somebody on your side. And this is something that I see with people who have a prominent Pisces, is sometimes they can't discern who is for them and who isn't. And you might even turn away the people who are for you inadvertently. And just be really attracted to those people because you naturally, as a healer, attract broken people sometimes, especially if you have not really set those boundaries for yourself. That might just come into your reality on a regular basis, these people who have problems for you to solve. And once you realize that as much as you want to heal other people, it can't be a one-sided thing, that they have to really want something better for their life. And also that you have to care about what's good for you. Even if the person wants to change, you may not have the energy to go through the whole process of change for that person. You may have been through that too many times and you just want to be with somebody who's already together. And that's okay. That doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're judging that person. Okay, that's what I have for you, Pisces. If you'd like a personal reading, if you'd like a look at the next 12 months, what are the trends for you? But also, what are the patterns like we're looking at here, but looking at the natal chart? It's something that I really love to do. I actually love to do the analysis more than the transits, but I provide the transits and encourage a big picture perspective because I do think that we go through different themes at different times in our life, and it's kind of interesting to explore this and to be more aware of what these themes might be, so that we can, order our lives in a way that's better in alignment with the energies that are surrounding us. Sometimes things can manifest quite quickly, and sometimes it seems like we're swimming against the current. And I feel like there's a time and place for transits. I just think in today's astrological world that they are overemphasized. So that's where I'm coming from regarding that predictive part, but I do, the analysis as well. And I think that's more important, actually. But anyway, my website is rainamoonastrology.com. I have a link to my online store below if you're interested in checking me out. Take care. Bye.